In this video, we're going to show you how non-harmonic tones work using assignment 5.2, or at least the first 5 problems from assignment 5.2. In each, we're going to be concerned with a note of approach and the note of resolution, where the non-harmonic tone comes from and where the non-harmonic tone heads to. The first thing we need to do, though, is look vertically and say, what chord do most of the notes fit into? Even though this F doesn't fit into the chord that the rest of the notes fit into, it looks like we have a C major chord there. C's, and then E, and then G. So it's basically a C major chord in the key of C major. So let's call this the tonic in the key of C major. And then this chord is the dominant. We have G, B, and D, and then another G. So that's the dominant. But there's one note that doesn't fit in, and so we have to look at what's the note of approach. Well, it's approached by step, and then the note of resolution is by leap. And it's an escape tone that has a note of approach that is stepwise up, and then a note of resolution that's a leap down, or the opposite, could be stepwise down and leap up. So that's going to be an escape tone. Let's look at the next one. Again, we're in a key where we have a G major chord here, G, B, D, and then we have a chord here that could be A, C, missing E and G, but it could also be F sharp, A, C, and that's what we're going to go with, building a triad up, F sharp, A, C. So let's go ahead and get rid of all these marks, and now that it's less cluttered, let's call this in the key of G major. Say this was a tonic chord. This chord would be the leading tone diminished first inversion, right? It was an F sharp, A, C chord, but A, of course, is our lowest note. So here the non-harmonic tone is this G, or let's make it a different color. Let's make it there, this G. So there the note of approach is unison, and the note of resolution is down by step. And it turns out that it's a suspension that follows that formula. Suspensions are approached by unison, right, G to G, and then resolved down by step. So there's our first 2 non-harmonic tones labeled, along with their chords in the analysis. Let's look at number 3. Well, here we have F sharp, A, and D. Well, if D was the root, it would be a D, F sharp, A chord. So building a snowman is the most important thing to find out what the triad is. And then the next chord looks like it's just another D chord. So I don't know what, say this is in D major. This would be a tonic chord to a tonic chord, but the non-harmonic tone is the note B flat. It's approached by step, and it's resolved by step in the opposite direction. That's a neighboring tone. Neighboring tones follow that formula of approach by step and then resolve by step in the opposite direction. It could be either direction. This is an upper neighboring tone because it goes up and then down. If it had gone down and then up, it would be a lower neighboring tone. All right, let's look at the next one. Here it looks like if we take all of our first beat notes there, we have E, G sharp, and B, right? 2 E's, then a G sharp, and a B. So that's an E chord. Then on the second beat, we have an A chord, A, and then C sharp and E. So we're building our snowman. It looks like we're in the key of A major, and that we go from a dominant chord to a tonic chord. But there's one note, and that's the A here, that does not fit in with the prevailing harmony of dominant. And that A is called an anticipation. When you get to the next chord, or at least when one of the notes of the next chord appears early, we call that an anticipation. Okay, we've got one more to do. And in this scenario, we've got, we build a snowman at least, we've got A flat as our root, and then C is the third, and then E flat is the fifth. So A flat, C, E flat chord. Then over here, we've got another A flat, C, E flat chord. It's just that this D flat that happens here is not part of the A flat chord. So if we were in the key of A flat major, this would be a tonic and this would be a tonic, but this one note, the D flat, doesn't fit into the chord. So what is that? Well, let's look at how it's approached, and that's by step, and then it's resolved by step in the same direction. Okay, so approached by step, resolved by step in the same direction, that's a passing tone. And that's the formula for a passing tone. Approached by step, resolved by step in the same direction. This is an accented passing tone, in a sense, because the passing tone happens right where the chord, on the downbeat of that chord. If the passing tone, if the D flat would have been over here, before the C here, then we would say it's an unaccented passing tone. So, accented passing tone because it's on a strong beat. So those are the first 5 problems in assignment 5.2, and hopefully you get a sense of how to look at how a non-harmonic tone is approached and how it is resolved to determine what non-harmonic tone it is.